Much like the waistband of
I did not expect this to be a first-person game, I have to admit.
MacGyver's trousers, Immortals of Aveum is a gun-free zone. This may sound like a peculiar predicament for a first-person shooter.
Wait, isn't this the Skyrim magic type of game that I saw a couple of years ago? Everybody hyped it up because it's basically like Skyrim, but with only magic and like magic guns. Like I think it's that game.
But developer Ascendant Studios has made it work. How, you ask? Magic. And I'm not being facetious here, I mean literal barrages of brightly coloured bullets magically blasted from the fingertips of a bloke who really puts the war in Warlock. An unexpected collision of traditional high fantasy adventure with slick FPS action.
This game looks so
Immortals
good.
of Aveum boasts a wonderful backdrop for its classy combat and comes with everything I crave in a modern shooter.
Damn.
It's striking to look at, sturdy to play, and it's strictly single player only.
Fair enough. So it's a one-time purchase type of game and no monthly subscription, no microtransactions. That's good.
There are times when Immortals of Aveum feels like Wolfenstein with wizards, and others when it feels like Doctor Strange has been airdropped directly into Doom. It's a curious concoction, but it's one that works surprisingly well, and I've particularly enjoyed how different Aveum is to anything I've played in recent memory. The firefights are frantic and visually spectacular, the light platforming and puzzle work is generally satisfying, and the world itself is very well crafted. Aveum's arcane punk aesthetic is very absorbing and creates a world of interesting extremes. It's a world where magic is ubiquitous and powers highly advanced technology for war-torn societies still living a medieval...
Just imagine, I think this comes out on PC, right? Just imagine when it comes out on PC and people are able to mod it, and like you can just get like, you can mod the sound effects, and it just constantly, the like shooting, just constantly goes meow 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 meow, you know, meow. The anime, the female anime like cat girl meow. God, that would be so fucking hilarious.
Inspired lifestyle. This means...
Or just constantly on a loop of Shrek's opening, when he kicks down the like, outshed, whatever the fuck it's called, the dump house door. Just imagine that, man. I can only imagine how good it can get.
Flying machines and mind-bending virtual puzzle rooms juxtaposed against gilded castles.
Or just modded so that every enemy is like a very iconic like Disney character or Pixar character. Imagine fighting fucking Woody, man. That would be insane.
Ramshackle timber slums. It's a cool clash of styles.
I hope it gets to that
straddling
point.
multiple genres seems to suit Aveum's ambitions as a first-person shooter with a twist.
Sounds like
we play as Jack,
King
who,
Spirit?
in a moment of extreme stress in the opening phase of the story, is suddenly revealed to possess the power of a Triarch, an extremely rare person able to wield the world of Aveum's 3 forms of magic simultaneously.
Damn. He's a very special boy.
Jack subsequently finds himself drafted into the Ever War, a battle for control over Aveum's magic that has been raging for millennia but appears to be barreling towards a catastrophic conclusion.
Politics, land, ideologies, all of that is secondary to the control.
I hope they try and make an anime off of this game. It would be so fucking stunning. Have this game as the whole idea, but have like a cyberpunk edge runners type of animation. It would be so fucking lit. I doubt it's ever gonna happen, but imagine how good that anime would be.
Magic.
Or even arcane type of art style, but that takes even more work. So I doubt it.
The story specifics get a little lost in the weeds during occasional salvos of fantasy phrases, but it's otherwise easy to follow, and there's a regular cadence of moderate twists to keep it from getting bogged. If you want to get seriously steeped in lore, there's a lot of optional stuff to dig through, but it definitely isn't required to sufficiently understand what's going on. There are some very elegant ecological and social parables tucked in here too, and I ultimately appreciated the contemporary relevance, and that the story just wasn't spinning its wheels mindlessly. I've noticed some resistance to the choice to use modern
that skill is
vernacular and
insane.
colloquialisms in Avium's
Just
dialogue, but
evaporated everybody.
I honestly can't see myself being as engaged as I was if Ascendant had opted instead for po-faced pseudo-early modern English. In fact, I'd argue that leaning on archaic language would only undermine how otherwise fresh and modern Avium feels in the first-person shooter space. Not every line lands.
Does he always love to hear himself talk this much?
Well, Jack, I mean, I can't say no. Look, how about we table the culture clash for a bit, huh?
And there's a certain Generation Z angst about Jack that I didn't always find entirely endearing, but the performances are good and I can get behind it broadly. Also, I don't know about you, but I don't know that I need all my fantasy stories sifted through a Shakespeare filter just to dress up the dialogue with some 400-year-old dribble.
You talk like fear with its pants too tight.
I think they look good.
On default difficulty,
Yeah, but the thing is, that is exactly how someone would react.
Avium kept me busy for well over 20 hours to reach
People would either react like that or be very toxic backwards, back to the person. Those are the two ways someone would respond. Because no one can either keep their mouth shut or just, say, okay, that's your opinion. People would either be like that dude or he would be very toxic.
the credits.
So it's fine.
It's nicely paced and strikes a good balance between switching up our surroundings for new locations and returning us to places we've already visited. While there are a few drab and dreary spots, most of Avium's environments are exceptionally good looking, from its giant lava pools to its icy and jagged crystal caves. The excellent lighting is regularly a strong component of what makes Avium's levels so
I don't know about you guys, but I hate fucking sun glare. It is so fucking annoying.
eye-catching.
In
It's
every
a
game.
relatively linear experience, and
Because it always finds this one spot to fuck you over, where you get to that area and then you can't see fuck all. Why? Because the fucking sun is in the
a
way.
single open world.
It happened a lot in Forza Horizon 5. Like, you'd get over a hill, and then the sun would just fucking be in your eyes. If it wasn't for the fact that that was a car game and you'd know exactly how you would land, and like if it wasn't for that fact, you'd be fucked if it was like Assassin's Creed. Jump over the building, expecting to grab onto another building, but you turned your camera or your character too far to the left or right, and then you just fucking fall straight down. I would hate the sun.
But there are some maps that are admittedly quite large and primed for exploring off the main path. There were definitely occasions I found myself slightly frustrated at Jack's inability to leap on or over surfaces that looked entirely suitable for standing on, but my bigger frustration was the lack of communication around things Jack couldn't access yet by design. For instance, Avium was very quick to have Jack drop an audio solution to an environmental puzzle I was already well on top of solving.
I can stun him on the pressure plate.
But it's also content to leave me fruitlessly trying to figure out how to get into a bonus area Jack literally hasn't been rewarded with the ability to do yet.
A rusty mage.
Jack's list of abilities is, however, impressively long. They're also rationed out until quite deep into the story, meaning things that might have stumped us hours and hours prior may suddenly make sense. Avium feels a little plain at first when Jack just has access to his initial basic spell strikes, but as the story progresses, he gains access to far more interesting abilities and attacks. These include things like sticky charges that have a slow motion effect, the ability to hover after a double jump, and a lash that drags enemies closer for an easier close quarters
Oh, see,
kill.
that's cool.
Avium is undoubtedly a lot more than a disguised military shooter with finger guns. The finger guns are a fun touch though, and they're essentially split into three categories. Blue magic attacks function as a large caliber pistol, green magic attacks manifest as rapid fire SMG rounds, and red magic attacks are essentially a sawn-off shotgun.
I was gonna
Red
say, it
attacks
looked more
are
like a
reloaded
shotgun.
by fist pumping, by the way. Now we know what Tiger Woods is doing every time he sinks a putt. However,
Really?
if you're worried this means there are only 3 basic weapons in Avium,
What the
don't
fuck?
be. There are variations on each that change their damage and fire rate depending on the associated sigil you equip to Jack's arm, and there's also another layer of secondary attacks, from damaging blast waves to volleys of magic missiles. There's even an extremely potent beam that combines all 3 magic colours into a single destructive torrent, gushing forwards like
That's
someone
insane.
just knocked Cyclops' sunglasses off.
X-Men was always
I
kind of
really
good.
enjoy how powerful this attack makes Jack feel, and it's crucial in some of the tougher boss battles. Aveum does motivate us to engage with discovering and experimenting with new sigils, although it also didn't punish me for settling with the ones I had already fully upgraded and sticking with them until the end of the story. There's a significant degree of controller gymnastics required to get the most out of Aveum's combat. I would also say that, as a man with the multitasking abilities of a peanut, it certainly grazes the upper limit to the amount of systems I can effectively juggle at once. At its most hectic, I was nursing multiple ability cooldowns, boosting both my health and mana levels, switching sigils depending on which enemy poses the most immediate threat, and slinging special spells to deal out the fastest damage I can,
This
all while
looks
building
insane.
a special attack. At times, I felt on top of it. At other times, things descended into panicked
Chaos.
blasting. The strength
Yes.
of Aveum is that it all looks rather spectacular either way. Whether you're efficiently and ruthlessly carving through enemies with focus and finesse, or wading into battle spamming spells and seeing what works, combat is a wild storm of shattering shields and colourful fireworks at a welcome 60 frames per second on consoles. Movement is smooth and Jack feels agile and responsive compared to the bulk of his foes. Jack is, by definition, one of the most dangerous battle mages in all of Aveum, and I certainly felt like that most of the time.
Looks like a
Immortals
very
of
good
Aveum
game.
is an impressively confident first-person shooter that successfully trades muzzles and magazines for mages and magic. Its fast-paced spellcasting combat is both satisfying to master and spectacular to look at, and it features a lengthy and hardy campaign packed with secrets to keep us going well after the story has wrapped. As someone who desperately hopes that unapologetically single-player shooters will live forever, these Immortals have done a great job of...
If there's one game I kind of want dead, like a first-person shooter, this is a very controversial take, but COD, Call of Duty. I just don't see the point in bringing out new Call of Duties, man, because it's always a kind of World War type of setting. World War One, World War Two, the ones where they did try and do more of a futuristic type of thing. People hate it. No one liked it. So they went back to World War One, World War Two, Cold War, Vanguard, Modern Warfare. So now they're remaking all of this stuff. If they remake Black Ops, I'm just gonna be completely and utterly done with it. Like, then I've really lost all interest in the fucking franchise as a whole. Like, it is so dumb. Call of Duty has to do something new. People don't like it. Shit, man. Fuck's sakes. Constant dumb fucking game every time. Like, it's so goddamn
making
annoying.
sure they're definitely not dead yet. For more recent verdicts, check out our reviews for Moving Out 2 and Baldur's Gate 3. And for everything else, stay with IGN.
Drink up, nerds.
Oh, that was actually pretty good. I was not expecting the game to look so, like, Final Fantasy-esque type, you know, so flashy and so on. I definitely wasn't expecting it to be like a first-person shooter game. So this is, like, I'm so utterly infatuated with this game at the moment. Like, it looks so good, it looks like it plays so smoothly. And once you get the hang of everything, you can just imagine how you would feel like being like Doctor Strange across the Doom, crossed with, you know, just Skyrim. It just looks like such a good fucking game. Let me know what you guys think, and yes, hope to see you guys next time.